What if the secret to achieving everything you want isn't about doing more, but about ignoring almost everything? It sounds counterintuitive, I know. You're smart, driven, and you feel it, don't you? There's more potential simmering inside you, a deep well of capability waiting to be fully tapped. Yet too often, you find yourself reacting to the world instead of creating your own. You're pulled in 1,000 directions, constantly putting out fires, responding to external pressures. Does that resonate with you? Maybe you're wondering if you're just not working hard enough. But here's a simple truth. This isn't about a lack of effort. In fact, for many of us, it's quite the opposite. We're working harder than ever, yet feel less in control. We're busy, but are we truly productive? Stay with me for a moment, because the answer might surprise you. Today, I'm going to show you a real process, an inevitable process, that rewires how you perceive and react to those external pressures. We'll turn that scattered effort into a laser-focused power. This isn't about adding another task to your already overflowing plate. No, it's about the precise art of removing the unnecessary, making critical space for the essential. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to navigate a dense fog. You can keep pushing forward, but you'll likely stumble, waste energy, and get lost. What if you could clear the fog? What if you had a tool, an internal mechanism, that always pointed you towards your true north? That's the clarity we're talking about. I promise you, by the end of our time together, you'll have the precise coordinates for calibrating what I call your clarity compass. This isn't some abstract theory. It's a practical human approach to reclaiming your focus and directing your energy exactly where it needs to go. We'll demonstrate it today, showing you how others have transformed their daily lives with this very principle. You might be thinking, I've heard this before. But perhaps you haven't seen the process laid out in a way that makes it truly inevitable to follow. This isn't just about what to do. It's about understanding how to perceive and react. It's about building a mental filter, almost like a bouncer at a VIP club, deciding who gets in and who gets left outside your precious attention span. Before we dive deeper into the mechanics of this, I want to hear from you. In one word, what does clarity mean to you right now? Go ahead and drop that word in the comments below. Your answer helps me understand what truly matters to this community. Now, let's confront the more of the same problem. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Every ping, every notification, every trending headline feels urgent. We're told to multitask, to optimize every second, to be always on. The consequence? We feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and often profoundly unfulfilled. We chase the next shiny object, convinced it holds the key, only to find ourselves back at square one. Is that your experience too? This constant reactivity drains our potential. It leaves us feeling like we're always catching up, never truly leading our own lives. We become passengers, not pilots. And that's a dangerous place to be when you have big dreams, when you know you're capable of so much more. This pattern, this cycle of external dictation, it's not a personal failing. It's a systemic challenge. But there's a way out, a process that brings true clarity. The common error, the one almost everyone makes, is trying to change everything at once. We decide we're going to overhaul our entire routine overnight. We try to implement 5 new habits simultaneously. What happens? Those mental antibodies kick in, resisting radical shifts, and we quickly revert to old patterns. We become frustrated, convinced it's our fault. But it's not. It's the approach. The truth is, the biggest breakthroughs often come from the smallest, most consistent actions. It's about incremental yet powerful adjustments. It's about building a foundation of focus, brick by brick, not trying to build a skyscraper in a day. That's the inevitable process we're going to explore. It starts with understanding what truly deserves your focus. This inevitable process, this path to genuine clarity, isn't about some radical overnight transformation. It's built on three fundamental pillars, each designed to rewire how you perceive and react to the world around you. This isn't just theory, it's a practical framework. The first pillar is what I call identify your true north. Before you can decide what to ignore, you must first know what you're truly aiming for. This sounds obvious, right? But in practice, most of us operate on autopilot, letting external demands dictate our trajectory. We chase goals that aren't truly ours, or we scatter our energy across too many important things. Think of it. What is the one thing, if achieved, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Pause for a second and really consider that. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about removing the unnecessary. It's about making space for the essential. We're talking about a truth so simple it's often overlooked. Your focus is your most valuable currency. If you don't intentionally direct it, the world will happily spend it for you. What if you could reclaim that power? For example, I once worked with a marketing executive who felt completely overwhelmed. She was managing 3 major campaigns, constantly checking email, and felt like she was failing all of them. Her true north wasn't clear. We sat down, and she realized her deepest aspiration was to launch her own consulting firm in the next 3 years. Suddenly, every daily task had a new filter. Does this move me closer to my firm, or is it just noise? That simple question changed everything. This brings us to the second pillar. Build your mental filter. Once you know your true north, you need a mechanism to protect it. This is where you become the bouncer at the VIP club of your attention span. Who gets in? Only what aligns with your essential purpose. Everyone else gets left outside. You might be thinking, but I can't just ignore my boss's emails or client calls. And you're right, you can't. This isn't about becoming a hermit. It's about creating a system, a set of internal rules that helps you evaluate incoming information and demands with ruthless efficiency. It's about deciding when and how you engage, rather than simply reacting. This process inevitably leads to more control. Consider this. How many times today have you checked your phone out of habit, not necessity? How many notifications have pulled you away from a task that truly mattered? Those small, seemingly insignificant pings are invisible drains on your focus. Building your mental filter means recognizing these drains and actively plugging them. It's about saying no to the non-essential, even when it feels uncomfortable at first. If you're finding value in understanding this process, in seeing how a simple shift in perception can lead to profound changes, then do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps us know we're delivering the kind of clarity that empowers you to take action, and it helps more people discover these vital principles. Now, the third pillar is calibrate daily with incremental adjustments. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's not about grand gestures. It's about understanding that the biggest breakthroughs often come from the smallest, most consistent actions. You don't overhaul your life in a day. You refine it, piece by piece. This means starting small. Maybe it's carving out 15 minutes of uninterrupted focus each morning before checking email. Maybe it's deliberately ignoring a non-essential ping for an hour. These aren't radical shifts. They are incremental, yet powerful adjustments that build new neural pathways. They help you practice using your mental filter, strengthening it over time. Think of it like training a muscle. You don't lift the heaviest weight on day one. You start light, you build consistency, and slowly, inevitably, you get stronger. Your focus, your ability to direct your attention, works the same way. It's a skill, and like any skill, it improves with persistent, intentional progress. This is the truth simple. This is what it looks like in practice. What if your environment actively conspires against your focus? What if the demands are truly overwhelming? We'll dive into the practical strategies for navigating these real-world challenges, transforming potential pitfalls into stepping stones. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming more human, more you, by giving yourself the gift of undistracted presence. The next step is to give you a unique mechanism, a tangible object anchor, to make these pillars concrete. You've embraced the idea of identifying your true north, of building that mental filter, and making those small, consistent adjustments. But how do you hold on to that clarity when the world is constantly trying to pull you off course? How do you make these principles tangible, something you can actively use? This is where we introduce a unique mechanism, an anchor you can rely on to truly focus on yourself and leave the rest behind. It's what I call your clarity compass. The clarity compass isn't a physical object you buy. It's an internal calibration system. Think of it as your personal GPS for focus, always pointing you towards what truly matters, even when the external noise tries to scramble your signal. It's the unique way you rewire how you perceive and react to external pressures, turning scattered effort into focused power. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about removing the unnecessary, making space for the essential. To really grasp this, let's use an analogy. Imagine a master carpenter. They don't just grab any piece of wood and start sawing. No, a master carpenter selects the right grain, measures precisely, and cuts with purpose. Every action is intentional, aligned with a clear vision for the final piece. The clarity compass helps you become that master carpenter of your own life. You'll stop feeling that constant, nagging urge to check every email, every social media notification, because your internal compass will be calibrated to a higher purpose. Doesn't that sound liberating? This compass isn't about rigid rules, but about developing an instinct. It's about knowing your grain, understanding your design, and making those purposeful cuts in your daily life. It helps you filter out the distractions, the low-priority demands, the things that scream for attention but don't actually serve your true north. It's a simple truth, but one that unlocks incredible leverage. It's a process inevitable once you understand how it functions. Let me show you how this looks in practice. Consider Sarah, a budding entrepreneur. Before calibrating her clarity compass, she felt constantly pulled between client demands and her own product development. Her days were a frantic blur of reactivity. She'd jump from an urgent client email to a team meeting, then try to squeeze in some product work, only to be interrupted by another ping. She was smart, driven, but perpetually exhausted. Then, she discovered the power of her clarity compass. She used it to identify her core priorities, deep work on product development in the mornings, and client calls clustered in the afternoon. With her compass calibrated, she started to systematically decline non-essential meetings. Politely but firmly, without a flicker of guilt, she learned to say no to the noise, to leave the rest behind. Within weeks, her productivity soared. Her mental clarity became her superpower. She wasn't just working harder, she was working smarter, with purpose. This isn't a miracle. This is how mindset shifts, how productivity becomes effortless, how discipline becomes second nature. It's about understanding that the real power isn't in finding more time. It's in finding more focus within the time you already have. The clarity compass makes this possible. It helps you build that mental filter, that bouncer at your VIP club, deciding who gets in and who gets left outside your precious attention span. If the idea of having your own internal clarity compass guiding you through the fog of daily distractions truly resonates, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in our upcoming series, We'll go even deeper. We'll provide a live, step-by-step guide to help you build and calibrate your own clarity compass, tailored to your unique goals and challenges. We'll explore advanced strategies for navigating those moments when you do get sidetracked, and how to deal with environments that actively conspire against your focus. Don't miss out on the practical tools that will turn these concepts into your everyday reality. The stakes couldn't be higher. Continuing to operate without this internal compass means resigning yourself to a life dictated by external forces, a future where your potential remains largely untapped. But the beautiful reversal here is that you don't need a grand overhaul. You can start small, with just one deliberate choice to ignore a non-essential ping, to carve out 15 minutes of uninterrupted focus. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about persistent, intentional progress. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about persistent, intentional progress. But you might be nodding along, thinking, "That sounds great, Alex. But what about my reality? What do you do when the world refuses to cooperate? When the pings are relentless and the demands are truly overwhelming?" That's a fair question, and it's the practical challenge everyone faces. The truth is, even with the clearest compass, storms will hit. You will get sidetracked. Your environment will, at times, actively conspire against your focus. This isn't about eliminating every single distraction from your life. That's an impossible promise. And I don't deal in those. The secret isn't to be perfect. It's to be resilient. It's about having a process, an inevitable process, for when you inevitably drift off course. How do you build that resilience, that ability to course correct without losing momentum? It comes down to two often overlooked strategies that integrate seamlessly with your clarity compass. The first is what I call strategic insulation. This isn't about building a literal fortress around yourself. It's about creating deliberate pockets of uninterrupted time and space, even if they're small. Remember our master carpenter? They don't try to carve intricate details in a bustling marketplace. They find their workshop, their dedicated space. In practice, this might mean blocking out 30 minutes each morning before you check a single email for your most important task. It could be using noise-canceling headphones in an open office, or it might be a simple conversation with your family or team about your focus hours, asking for their cooperation in protecting that time. It's about communicating your boundaries, not as a demand, but as a commitment to your highest value work. For instance, I once advised a project manager who felt constantly bombarded. Her clarity compass showed her true north was leading a critical software launch. Her strategic insulation? She scheduled all her deep work between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., put her phone on silent, and used a specific status indicator on her communication apps that clearly said, "Focused work will respond after 10 a.m." The initial pushback faded when everyone saw her productivity soar. That's the power of strategic insulation. But what if you can't control your environment entirely? What if the unexpected client call comes through, or an urgent family matter demands your attention? This is where the second strategy, planned recalibration, comes in. Think about it. How often do you beat yourself up for getting distracted? How many times does one interruption lead to an hour of scattered attention, simply because you feel like the day is already ruined? That emotional spiral is more damaging than the initial distraction itself. The key detail that unlocks everything here is the understanding that getting sidetracked isn't a failure, it's an event. And like any event, you can have a plan for it. Planned recalibration means having a predetermined quick process to get back on track. It's your internal reset button. So what does this look like in practice? When an interruption occurs, acknowledge it. Deal with it effectively if necessary, but then immediately return to your clarity compass. Ask yourself, Does this new demand align with my true north? If not, how quickly can I return to what does? It might be as simple as taking 2 deep breaths, looking at your top priority for the day, and deliberately re-engaging. Mark, the individual struggling with financial goals we mentioned earlier, used this. He'd get sidetracked by an online sale notification. Instead of spiraling into impulse buying, his recalibration was to immediately pull up his wealth vision and ask, does this purchase move me towards or away from my financial true north? That simple, immediate check, made possible by his calibrated clarity compass, allowed him to filter out the noise and redirect his focus. He wasn't perfect, but his consistent recalibration meant those sidetracks became It's about accepting that distractions are part of life, but how you respond to them is entirely within your control. It's a truth simple. It's a process inevitable. These adjustments, small as they seem, build powerful momentum. And this momentum is what transforms potential pitfalls into stepping stones. Stay with me, because this next insight is crucial for locking in these gains and making them permanent. You've learned about strategic insulation and planned recalibration. These aren't just techniques, they're essential components of your clarity compass, helping you navigate the real world. But here's a critical question. How do you ensure these aren't just temporary fixes, but become an ingrained part of who you are? How do you move from understanding to truly living this focused life? Many people grasp the concepts. They even try them, but then find themselves slipping back into old patterns. Why does this happen? It's because sustaining focus, especially in a world designed to steal it, requires more than just isolated actions. It demands a shift in your operating system. The truth simple is, consistency isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about building momentum, even through small, deliberate choices. Think of a flywheel. It takes effort to get it moving, but once it starts, each push adds to its incredible power. Your clarity compass works the same way. Every time you make a deliberate choice to focus, to ignore a non-essential ping, you add a little more energy to that flywheel. What if I told you that the biggest obstacle isn't external distraction, but internal resistance? Your brain loves efficiency. Even if that efficiency is a bad habit, it will try to pull you back to the familiar. This is where the wisdom of incremental adjustments truly shines. You're not fighting a war. You're gently retraining yourself, one small victory at a time. For instance, challenge yourself this week. Can you carve out just 10 minutes of completely uninterrupted focus on your most important task before you do anything else? Just 10 minutes. No email, no social media, no news, just you and that one task. What do you think would happen if you did that every day? This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about making space for the essential. It's about cultivating a new internal response. When you feel that urge to check your phone, your clarity compass kicks in. It asks, does this align with my true north? If the answer is no, you practice letting it go. It's a muscle that gets stronger with every rep. This process inevitably leads to a deeper sense of self-trust. You begin to prove to yourself that you are the pilot of your attention, not just a passenger. And that, my friend, is a profound shift. It's how you start creating your own world, rather than just reacting to the world around you. But what about those days when you just can't seem to get it right? When you're overwhelmed, tired, and every notification feels like a siren song? That's where many people throw in the towel. They see a momentary lapse as a sign of failure and then give up entirely. Here's the insight that changes everything. Getting sidetracked isn't a failure. It's data. It's feedback. Your clarity compass isn't meant to make you infallible. It's meant to make you aware. When you drift off course, the compass doesn't judge you. It simply shows you where you are and points you back to your true north. This means reframing how you view those moments of distraction. Instead of self-criticism, ask, what triggered that? How can I adjust my strategic insulation or planned recalibration for next time? This isn't about perfection. It's about persistent, intentional progress. It's the difference between a one-time effort and a sustainable lifestyle. In practice, this might look like keeping a simple distraction log for a day. Every time you get pulled away from your main task, just note it down. Don't judge, just observe. You'll quickly see patterns emerge, revealing your unique invisible drains on focus. Once you see them, you can proactively address them, calibrating your compass with even greater precision. The real power isn't in finding more time. It's in finding more focus within the time you already have. This is the truth simple, the process inevitable. And when you consistently apply it, you'll unlock that potential simmering inside you, transforming scattered effort into focused power. This isn't just about getting more done. It's about becoming more you. The next step is to solidify this transformation and make it undeniably yours. You've seen how to identify your true north, how to build your mental filter, and how to calibrate daily with incremental adjustments. You now understand strategic insulation and planned recalibration, turning potential pitfalls into stepping stones. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming more human, more you, by giving yourself the gift of undistracted presence. It's about understanding that the biggest breakthroughs often come from the smallest, most consistent actions. So, what does this all mean for you in practice? It means you stop feeling the constant urge to check every email, every social media notification, because your internal clarity compass will be calibrated to a higher purpose. You'll stop reacting to the world and start creating your own. This isn't just a promise. It's the inevitable outcome of following this process. You will feel it, this shift. That potential simmering inside you, it begins to ignite. Your scattered effort transforms into focused power. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about removing the unnecessary, making space for the essential. Think back to Sarah, the entrepreneur, or Mark, who transformed his financial goals. Their stories aren't exceptions. They are demonstrations of a truth simple, a process inevitable. What you gain is more than just productivity. You gain mental clarity, a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are directing your life, not just responding to it. Productivity becomes effortless, discipline becomes second nature, and self-knowledge deepens into wisdom. This isn't magic. It's the profound impact of intentional focus. You'll start seeing an extra $200 a month appear, not from a new income stream, but from eliminating invisible drains on your resources. That's the kind of tangible result that comes from calibrating your clarity compass. The beautiful reversal here is that you didn't need a grand overhaul. We started small, with the deliberate choice to ignore non-essential pings, to carve out 15 minutes of uninterrupted focus. It's about building a mental filter, almost like a bouncer at a VIP club, deciding who gets in and who gets left outside your precious attention span. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about persistent, intentional progress. You've come this far, and I truly believe you're ready to fully embrace this. You now have the precise coordinates for calibrating your own clarity compass. You understand that the real power isn't in finding more time. It's in finding more focus within the time you already have. Embrace the journey to clarity. It's waiting for you. If you found genuine value in today's deep dive into the clarity compass, if you've seen how this process can transform your scattered efforts into focused power, then please do two things for me. First, if you haven't already, hit that like button. It's a small action, but it tells us we're on the right track, helping more people find this essential guidance. Second, if you want to continue this journey of intentional focus and mastering your attention, Make sure you're subscribed to this channel and have notifications turned on. We have an entire playlist dedicated to Zig Ziglar's principles, designed to help you build on this foundation. I encourage you to dive in, to marathon these videos, and truly integrate these concepts into your life. You'll find more practical strategies, deeper insights, and the ongoing support you need to keep your clarity compass calibrated. And before you go, tell me in the comments, what's one small, deliberate choice you'll make today to ignite your clarity compass? Just one word, one phrase. Let's build this community of intentional action. Your journey to a life dictated by your purpose, not by external forces, starts now. Next time, we're going to explore the surprising truth about procrastination and how it's often a secret signal from your clarity compass, pointing you toward a deeper truth. You won't want to miss it.